a really easy way to stand out in interviews. It's also what interviewers are looking for. It's what companies are looking for. Being engaged in the interview conversation. Now, what does this mean? And that sounds really basic. Well, let me explain. I think a lot of people get really nervous when they're interviewing and they get all in their heads. I think a lot of people get in their heads when it comes to the interview. In fact, I know a lot of people do. People are constantly searching for what's the right answer? How should I phrase things? What should I do? And look, there's going to be questions that are predictable, right? Like, what's your biggest weakness, or why are you interested in this company? But the solution isn't to have a rehearsed, memorized answer for those questions. No, you want to be actually engaged. You want to try and make a connection. I think this is why it's easier for people who have a job to interview than it is for people who are looking for a job. When you're looking for a job and you don't have one, you become a little bit more desperate and you really start to need the job. When you already have a job, that pressure isn't there, so you're more natural. And then you're actually trying to figure out whether or not it's a right decision to make. If you have a job and it's safe and there's no risk associated to it and you're maybe not that unhappy, why make a jump? So you approach the interview, you are engaged, you're genuinely curious, you're trying to figure out, is this actually a right fit for me? When you're in the other camp and you need a job, your mindset changes and you start trying to think about, how do I answer this the right way? And I want them to like me. And it all becomes a little bit forced. So if you really want to stand out in interviews, one of the key things I would recommend is trying to relax and remembering that it is still a two-way street. Meaning, if you don't have a job, you still have to make a decision of whether or not this job is the right job. You're still evaluating the company. Even if it feels like they're more evaluating you because you want the job more, you are still evaluating them. So really try and listen to what the interviewer is saying. Try and be engaged in the conversation. Try and really get to understand the company, the team, what you'd be working on. That's what you should be focusing on. If you're wasting time trying to memorize the perfect way to answer questions, you're focusing on the wrong thing. And I think this is how people get into their head in interviews. Now, I'm not saying you don't want to prepare. Of course you want to prepare. You want to know about the company, the interviewer, all of the basic things. But you don't want to get so prepared that you're too in your head and you just come off like you're not even really interested in the company. At the end of the day, the company's trying to assess whether you're interested, whether you're qualified, and whether you're somebody that's going to make an impact at the company. And that's what you want to demonstrate.